There was some news earlier this week that indie devs are saying that the gold rush has stopped for Game Pass, and then sites were using it to say that, see this, Game Pass is dying, Xbox is dying, and that could not be further from the truth. So I just wanted to take a minute and go over it, and basically what these devs were saying. We'll go over what exactly they said, and then I want to discuss about the truth in what they said. Basically, they said that it's harder to get funding for indie games, and that the indie game landscape is just tough for investment. Here's the thing, though. Number one, I want to talk about how Game Pass long-term is going to help that. And number two, I want to discuss how that's just a reality. It's harder. I work in an industry where there's a lot of investing and investment, and that's what is required. That, in fact, it's the gaming industry. And investing and investment is just difficult to come by at the moment for everybody. That's not just solely unique to indie developers. That's for startups. That's for the whole shop. So let's go over, though. And I do think this was weaponized. This was taken out of context by people on the internet who think they know a lot and they actually don't. Some of them do. Most of them don't. So let's go through this news story. This is over at PureXbox.com by my main man, Fraser Gilbert. Everybody go to PureXbox.com. It's a great place for all your Xbox news. Let's just read through this news story, and then we'll discuss the points I want to talk about the reality of investing right now, and then how Game Pass can address these indie developers' challenges, and how I believe that Game Pass long-term is addressing those challenges. So last week, a couple of indie developers attracted attention with their comments after they suggested, amongst other things, that Xbox Game Pass deals had come down in scope since the service began. Darkest Dungeon director Chris Bourassa also stated in that interview that the gold rush is over in relation to indie funding, mentioning that the team secured their Epic Games deal at the right time. Now, in a follow-up interview this week, he told Gamer Social Club that the gold rush comment was aimed far beyond just Xbox Game Pass. Here's what he said. My gold rush comment was meant as an overall appraisal of the indie funding situation. As I said, deals are more difficult to line up. Their average size has diminished, and many companies are facing layoffs. Someone else who was involved in the interview was Cassiano, co-founder of Slay the Spire Studio, who clarified this week that his comments were mainly focused on Epic Games rather than Game Pass. The deals have dropped in value. Game Pass deals are a bit more nebulous as there's little data out there, a lot more hush-hush. I know of two studios who locked great deals, though, last year. It's not that there is no money or that funding is an impossibility, but publisher and platform holders are being much more conservative. And that's across the board. That's in startups everywhere. You look at interest rates right now. Voting has consequences, everybody. Economies have consequences. We are not in the gaming industry. Nobody is immune to economic realities. And that's where we're at with it. It's just harder to come by. So let's discuss real quick, though, how Xbox Game Pass, I think, can change this. They can address indie developers' challenges because it's a platform, especially as it grows. I think it can help with this because right now, if you develop a game, you need players in your game. That's it. And what do you need to do to get players? You need to spend money, and a lot of money, on marketing. If people don't know your game exists, this idea, I think we take for granted as users, as gamers, this idea that, oh, it's there, it exists, I know about it, ergo everyone must know about it. Like this idea that if you build it, they will come is not correct. That only exists in Field of Dreams. You have to spend money. You have to market. You have to go out there and let them know that, hey, this game exists. Hey, you need to come play it, come check it out. This is a game for you that you want to play. That costs a lot of money to do across a lot of platforms. And it's not as easy as it once was. When social media first came up, it was easy. There was a lot of hacks that you could do for that. For instance, there's the infamous Reddit hack. There's Facebook had a lot more data that you were able to really drill down granularly. So were all the other social media sites, and that's become more and more hard. Rightfully so. I actually agree with not having access to everyone's data there, but it just makes it harder and more expensive. So how does Game Pass affect that? Well, if Game Pass has a built-in audience, let's say Game Pass gets to 100 million subscribers. That's a built-in audience of 100 million subscribers. All of a sudden, as an indie game studio, I don't need to spend so much money on marketing. A word of mouth campaign can happen via Game Pass. It's in Game Pass's interest to market me as it is in my own to be on Game Pass, and saves me a lot of money for massive marketing and saves me a lot of money on the budget with the need, no longer having to need that massive marketing that I otherwise would need. So it can offer financial returns as well through, let's say I have a live service game, for instance, and I'm an indie developer, or I have add-ons. My business model is we have this base game, and then there's add-ons, or there's stuff that you can buy, stuff like that. There is opportunities for rev share, first of all, with Game Pass. I don't know what those deals look like. We don't know, but we can assume that there's rev share details in there for developers. And then also, if I'm just getting exposed, I can now sell you my DLC. I can sell you other items in the game that I may be selling that are just a normal part built into my business model with my indie game here. So Game Pass, I think, can really help, and it's why, I mean, Phil Spencer has talked about it a lot. He talks about it in terms of AAA major titles, in that, you know, previously publishers had this walled garden. You had to go through a publisher. That no longer exists necessarily, but that's where Game Pass can help both the little guy and the big guy. Big guys can take risks again. Big guys don't need to, because of that built-in audience, big guys don't need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars and make sure that they recoup their money on this huge AAA game. They can now take risks, and we can get a variety of games. Indie developers don't need that massive marketing budget because of a built-in audience in Game Pass. It'll be interesting to see how it goes and how it all plays out at the end of the day. Very excited for Game Pass. I would love to know what you guys think, though, on this topic. Do you think that Xbox Game Pass can help address some of these indie developers' challenges? What maybe have I missed that I've not discussed here? Let me know in the comments below. My name is X1 the Gamer. I am glad. I will say this being used and abused to somehow smash Xbox was completely fallacious. Also, I wanted to use the word fallacious in this video. Anyways, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.